I'm just going to mute everybody that is not me for a few minutes. So Kaylyn, when you start, you can just unmute yourself, okay? All right, so happy Monday. It is the 23rd, 2 days before Christmas. So first, if you celebrate Christmas, I want to wish you a very, very, very Merry Christmas. Take the time, enjoy it, love it, embrace it, be with the people that you are around. Take moments to just appreciate everything. Remember what Christmas is actually all about. And just enjoy it, whatever that means for you, whatever that is for your family, whatever that is for you personally. Enjoy it, enjoy it, enjoy it, enjoy it. Oh my gosh, give me some. Kyle comes with Christmas baking. Eat all of the baked goods.
All of them.
All of them.
No, I took them out for Jess.
That was so rude of me. I should not have eaten that while I'm talking.
I'm taking out what's for our guests.
With that being said, this time of year is still a time that you are still a business owner. Babe, do you mind doing that in like 4 minutes? Yeah. You are still a business owner. You are still a boss. You still have people that are relying on you. You still have people that are looking up to you. And I don't want you to lose sight of that. You've worked so hard to get to this point, to get to a point where you've built this following of people, or you've built this connection with people, and you've built this reputation as somebody who's investing in their health, as somebody who's investing in themselves. Don't lose sight of that just because it's the holidays. So I will give you guys like a couple of quick things that I do at like a holiday season, especially at this time, because it's, Christmas. For anybody that doesn't know, our anniversary, Kyle and I's anniversary of dating, is on Boxing Day. So it's always like Christmas, then we always do a Boxing Day shopping, and then we do a dinner for our anniversary. And then it's, a couple of days. Usually we're here down with his parents and we celebrate, or we spend a few days with them. And then it's New Year's, and then you have New Year's Day, and then my mom's birthday is the 2nd. So for me personally, it's like a solid week of, from the 23rd or the 24th all the way through until the 2nd, it's craziness. What I do to make sure that I stay invested mentally, physically, emotionally invested into my business is I always am doing my workout. Always, always, always. You guys, you've got to stay invested into the things that you've done up until this point. So stay invested with your workouts, even if you are eating dessert right beside you doing your workout. It doesn't matter. It's the point that you're doing the things that you've been doing all of this time. So I'm always doing my workout, and I'm always sharing about it. Always, 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 always sharing about it. But you might have seen today, like I did not go on my stories. I'm not talking on my stories the same way. I am soaking up as much time with the people I am around as possible. As much time as I can possibly take in. I still take my personal time. I still do my morning routine, but I'm taking that time. I'm not going to be in my phone the entire time. I don't like being in my phone despite having an online business. That's just not me. And so don't feel like you have to still do the same style, the same typical routine, but do stay invested mentally, emotionally, and physically. Do your workout. Enjoy the day, and just keep your business on your mind. Maybe you don't do invites because it's Christmas Eve, and who is going to answer their phone about a challenge group on Christmas Eve? I'm not really sure. I personally am not going to, so I don't really know. Hi, Jess. Your hair looks so short. Oh my gosh, I just got so distracted. So maybe you're not doing your invites on Christmas Eve, but instead think about what you want to do in the year of 2020. What do you want your goals to be? What do you want your business to look like? What do you want to spend your time doing? How do you want to plan your day? Think about those things. Keep your business on your mind, even during these days. On Christmas Day, think about it. Where do you want to be next year? On Christmas Day next year of 2020, what do you want your life to look like? What do you want to feel? What do you want to be doing? What do you want to be saying? What do you want to be feeling? Think about those things. That's still being invested in our business. I think very commonly we forget that the thoughts of our business, the feelings of our business, the planning and preparing of the next year, that's all part of the business work. Okay. I don't want you to do that on a regular day when you could be inviting, but on Christmas Eve and Christmas Day and probably even Boxing Day, nobody's thinking about those things. So use that time strategically. And so, for example, my plan tomorrow is to plan out everything that I want to do in the year of 2020. We're going to have something called the product of the month. Stay tuned, excuse me, for that announcement, but I'm going to plan all of that. I'm going to plan the first 6 months, the products of the month that we're going to do. I'm going to plan out what my groups are going to look like. I want to plan out, you know, what didn't work for 2019, what did, what am I going to do, how am I going to do that? And so I'm using my time strategically. That's what I want you to do, whether that is a half an hour, it's 5 minutes throughout the day, or you give yourself 2 hours. Think about what you want your business to look like. This is the time to do it. Don't plan on January 1st. Don't start your plans for the new year on January 1st. You do that now when nobody is going to be talking. Like, I mean, realistically, let's think about it. Let's respect other people's time. Like, we don't want to be pitching them a sale on Christmas Eve or on Christmas Day or on Boxing Day. Like, forget it. Like, let's just respect their time too, right? So use that time strategically and plan your business and do all of the prep work beforehand. All I want to say, just to round it all up, is remember that you are still a business owner. You are still a business owner, whether you are a coach that hasn't really launched yourself and you want to in the new year, or you've been a coach and you've been in it and you're about to start a new year, brand new year. You get an entire 12 months, 365 days. Actually, you get 366 days because it's a leap year this year. So we have 29 days in February. How cool. So think about what you want. Stay emotionally, physically, and mentally invested into this as a business, but allow yourself to enjoy. Eat the foods. Talk about eating the foods. Give people blessings and just tell them that they have permission to do these things. And yeah, just enjoy it. Enjoy these times, but it's a holiday, not a whole month. So make sure you're just mentally thinking about your business and it's always on your mind. With that being said, I want to roll it over to KAYLYN. I'm so excited. She is going to talk to us about photo and posing. So the main reason why I asked her to do this call is because every single time that I see her pictures, I'm like, man, I wish I thought of that. So she's got some posing tips that she's going to lay on us. And if you have any questions, even if you're not really sure how to word them or you feel silly asking them, ask her these questions, because at the end of the day, the pictures that we post on our social media, they make us money. They, plain and simple, they are what make us money. If we are not posting on social media, whether that's through our stories or in personal messages or on our news feed, we don't have a business. That is our business. So to treat this like a business, your photo taking, you don't need to be a photographer. I am not a photographer. When I first started this business, I never took photos. Never, ever, ever did I have pictures of myself, let alone, I never took pictures of myself, like a selfie, let alone have pictures of myself just on a regular day. So just remember, you don't have to be a professional. And she's going to give us some very basic, simple tips that we can do to improve this. But think about more so the posing, okay? We can get editing, we can get apps and all of that crap. We can get that anywhere. Ask her about the posing if there's any additional questions. So with that being said, KAYLYN, take it away, okay?
Hey, okay, great. Hi guys, I'm so excited to be here and I'm a little bit nervous, but excited. Thank you for spending your time here, especially with the holiday. I'm gonna just dive right into it so that we can get going. Here we go. So I'm gonna let you guys kind of write these talking points down. So we're gonna go over lighting first and foremost, because to me, that's the most important thing in the photo. Number 2, taking the photo and posing. Then we're gonna run over just a tiny bit of editing, and then your feed vibes will be the last point. So I'm just gonna jump right into lighting here. Okay, so I have a few images on here that you guys can see. and the black and white photos up here in the corner. The top one is with all my windows and doors and just everything open in my main room. And the bottom one is with everything closed, same time of day, like 2 seconds apart. This is like an example of how your pictures are going to turn out, because just the lighting in general is just going to make such a difference in how your editing comes out through the photo. The graininess, the just quality overall will make or break it when it comes to lighting. So tip one, like I said, let's make sure the photo's behind you if you're outside. So in the first photo over here on right here, I'm a little hover. Oops. I'm going to hover over it right here. The photo is behind, the sun is behind me in this, so that there's no weird shadows on my body or weird like sun just like reflecting off my skin, making me feel like flushed out or anything like that, or weird squinting in my eyes. If I was turned around, I would be avoiding that also. That's like something people don't really think about. I think they think the sun is going to give you the light, but really you want it behind you. I promise, I promise, I promise. Avoid that. And then tip number 2, if you're going to take photos outside like I just explained, try to do it earlier in the morning, avoiding the noon to 3 time period when it's the most bright outside, because that overhead light is just going to flush you out no matter what you do, unless you're under some solid shade. If you're in photography, you would know that you want the shade. It's like the best thing ever when you have overcast, but you're just going to mainly want to shoot in the earlier part of the mornings or after 3 o'clock, around the 4 o'clock evening time before it gets too dark, to avoid it being too bright on your skin outside. And then also, when we are doing photos inside during the day, it is okay to jump in there and do it in those brighter times of day, because you're going to be inside, so you're obviously going to be shaded. Just open up all your windows, open up all your doors. I mean, do what you can. Just let it all in, guys. Let it all in. Because all that light is just going to just emulsify all the beautiful stuff in your house, and your body is just going to just flow out. So just take advantage of all the sun and the natural lighting elements. As a natural light photographer, that is just something I always look for. So it just will make or break your photo. So just make sure that's something you look into. And then here we're gonna jump into, okay, so we're gonna jump a little bit into taking the photo and posing now. Okay, so we're gonna jump into this again on these black and white photos. This is my tripod half the time, you guys. This like dinner tray, a little footstool for my kitchen, and picture albums. And I sit my camera on it, and I just adjust it. Do you see how easy that is? I don't have a tripod that works. It's busted on vacation, and I just haven't bought one since. And I just make it out of what I have. It doesn't have to be complicated. It doesn't have to be expensive. You don't have to go buy the best one off Amazon for your phone. It doesn't have to be crazy. I prop it up on my dresser or on even my mantle in my living room. If I get a further back shot and you see my living room on my feed, that's usually on my mantle. Or on this, and it's just a little closer up to me. So just adjust it how you're gonna take the photo, just set it up and kind of take a few snapshots before. It doesn't have to be complicated, like I said before. Just take it, adjust it. If it doesn't work, just set it back a little bit, readjust the photo, and go again. But at least get 2 to 3 options you can choose from in your editing app to like go through and say, okay, there's my 3 options. These are all great, but this is the one that I'm going to choose because it just stands out a little bit more. Or, oh, I like my hair, how it flowed a little bit in this picture, or I like my smile a little bit better, and use the other 2 another time. It's okay to double up and post more than one every once in a while. A lot of people, I'll go into that later. So just do more than one photo session in a day. Just get it all knocked out. And as far as photo styles, a lot of people will do the mirror shots, or like me, I'd like to do workout photos of my, like further back of me taking a photo of myself working out. Find your style and keep posting it, because people are going to know you for that. So like Rachel Hollis, if you follow her, she does a lot of photos of herself with like the mirror quotes. So like you are used to seeing something like that on her feed, so she does it a lot. Ray does a lot of mirror photos. There's a lot of things that other people do that are kind of their signature thing. Find it and then just keep doing it. And if it works for you, great, just keep at it. And so now we're going to jump a little bit into the details. Number one, clean your screen. If you're taking a selfie, clean the front screen. If you're taking it on here, clean that. It's like so simple, but please just do it, because you won't think it makes a difference, but I promise the smudge shows up and it will make a difference in the quality. So just take the quick second and just swipe it down. Just use your corner of your sleeve, just wipe it away. And don't zoom. My mother-in-law, my grandma, everybody likes to zoom in on me. You know how it all is. It makes it pixelated. Just try to avoid it. Ask them to step a little closer to avoid that, or just tell them not to do it at all and tell them you'll do it later on in the editing app if you want it to zoom. So, and then we're going to go into a little bit of the multiple days at once thing. So if you're feeling yourself one day, your hair is all done, and you're like, okay, I can get a few photo sessions in today. Change your sweater a few times, or if you're, like me, and you have like 5 sweaters you wear a week, or change your workout gear. Pull your hair up and down, just kind of play with it, have fun with it. And like me, if my kid's up at his grandma's house, I'm like, okay, I'll take advantage of this hour and just knock out what I can. So it feels a little bit weird at first. You're like, this is weird. But honestly, it's such a time saver when you can just knock out getting some content shot that's going to be quality and in good lighting. And when you feel good about yourself and confident, it's going to show through in the photo. And it's also going to save you time. And with this kind of stuff, this time of year, saving time is something we need to do. Okay. And now we're going to go in a little bit, it's something also with lighting, but know the best room in your house for lighting and backdrop options. It sounds silly and simple, but it's a time saver too, because you're not running around trying to think, okay, well, where am I going to take my pictures today? What am I going to do? What am I going to do? It's something along the lines of knowing your photo style and doing it over and over. Just find your spot. Mine are usually where you see in this photo here, on my couch, by my Christmas tree, right here in my bed. I do a few here and there, and outside. So we do a lot of stuff outside. My family's a lot outdoors. So a lot of my stuff you'll see out there. So that's what I would say. And also, don't be afraid to use the grid on your photo app. On your camera, you can go into the settings and turn the grid on if you aren't used to like setting your photo up to be like lined up and positioned the right way. Some people like automatically want to tilt their photo to set something in. Go turn your grid on and your settings, and it'll set it up for you. And if someone else is taking it for you also, tell them where you want your head positioned, tell them where you want the background at, and they can kind of line it up in the grid for you and just tell them to shoot away. That's the best I can explain that. And now we're going to jump in a little bit to posing, and I took a few pictures here for you guys to show you just small
KAYLYN, can I jump in for a quick hot minute?
Yeah.
Okay, so I just wanted to give a couple of tips, because the grid is what I use simply because I don't have a photography eye at all. So if you guys are having difficulties with photography and you're like, I don't know how to take a picture, I don't know what I'm supposed to do, this is just not my realm, the grid is awesome. Jess, do you have a grid on your phone? Because I know that you have like a non-iPhone. Anyways, just trying to figure out how to mute. The grid is really helpful, and just to give you like a couple of tips ahead of time until you figure it out, the grid makes 9 squares, and in the middle there's like a middle square. You want to be on one of those corners. So one of those corners is where you want like the center of your head or the center of your body or whatever. And so just depends on the picture. You'll know, depends on the picture. But for example, if you look over here at her picture right here, she would be at the top corner of the grid. If she, you actually have it in a different one, I think. Anyway, this one, there's another one. I think it's your next one. But you'll see like her head is like lower down. That would be like at the bottom part. That's so much space if you see on the grid, it's just so much space of not the person, which is the actual part of the photograph. And so just a quick little tip, if you are using the grid, you want in that middle square, you'll see it, you want your main, like the center part of like the, if you're taking a picture of yourself, you want the main part, like I always think of like right here in between my eyes, I want that part, or like my nose in that corner. Okay. And then you are setting yourself up. You're not like in a weird position in the photo. And I know that it doesn't seem like these things would matter. It really doesn't. But when your photos equal your business, you have to have photos that are stop worthy in your social media. Your photos have to be better than everybody else's photos who are just like the everyday average person. You're going to start out like them, but you need to do the work to progress and make your photos that much better because they equal your money. At the end of the day, this is a skill you have to build because it equals your money. Okay. So I just wanted to give that quick little pointer of like where on the grid. I use the grid. I've been using the grid for like a year and it has made a world of a difference. Also, it makes it so much easier for somebody else to take the picture. So when I get Kyle to take the picture, I tell him exactly where to like have my head in the photo or line up the wall along this grid. Okay, so it makes it just so much easier again because everybody, like literally all of us who are not photographers, I am not a photographer. All of us, we don't think about those things. We do not think about the position of a photo whatsoever, you know, what's in the background and everything like that. So just wanted to give that quick little
Perfect.
poster.
Yeah, that was great. That was perfect. I love it. That was awesome. Okay, because I don't really use the grid that much, so I don't, know the four corners thing. So that was perfect, really.
Yeah, it's because you have a natural eye. So
Yeah.
keep going. You're doing great.
I didn't even know I had it until Ray was like,
I know.
About the grid, and I was like, what grid?
It's the newbie. It's the newbie way.
I know. I like it.
Beginner's way.
Now I'm gonna jump a little bit into like the adjustments on your posing. Okay, so make sure, this is just like small things, but just make sure you look your best. And if you don't look your best, just don't look a complete total mess. Like when I say a total mess, I mean, don't roll out of bed with like your hair crazy and just like take a picture and post it and be like happy with that. At least redo your bun and, maybe just like wipe the drool off your chin and go from there. You know what I mean? At least try a little bit. Don't just completely, you can be vulnerable, guys. I'm not saying don't be real, but I'm saying people are not going to want to see that. I love you, but they're not. They want you to at least try because they want to try too. So they want you to give them permission. So I promise you, just do that little adjustment and it makes all the difference too. But if you can do yourself up, it makes a trigger in your brain for you to just be a level up. So just keep that in mind. Okay, and a couple of hair do's and don'ts. I will say, don't just completely pull your hair back all the way out of your face because you'll look bald. That's just a common, I feel like all girls know that, but just let me say it just in case you don't. And then also if your hair's looking flat, just kind of like, just pump it up a little bit. Just give yourself a little something. Just make sure it's not totally flat. You know what I mean? Because it makes all the difference. I promise it really, really does. And then we're going to jump in a little bit into how to position yourself too. In these two photos over here, you can see I have my camera adjusted a little different in the tripod. I moved it back and forth like I told you before. Adjust it, take a picture and say, oh, I don't like that so close, move it back. Also, just look at my leg position. I'm doing the same thing, but I just tilted the book a little bit different. I switched which knee was bent, and I elongated the one that was bent in the front so that it looks a little more lean, it looks a little more long, and it's just a little more flattering of a position. And it's not so up close. It's just giving a little more length. It's giving a little bit more of a polished look. So it's just those small adjustments that are going to make a big difference in how your photo looks. I already went through this, someone else taking your photo thing, me and Ray hit the nail on that head. So I'm just going to pop on over to the next slide. Okay, here's a couple little pictures I also did here. I was doing a certain thing for that day and I was like, oh, here, this is a perfect day for me to do this for this call too. So there's an idea of my double dipping in content right here. Okay, so in this first one up here, we're gonna go with the top 2 pictures up here. You can see I have the book straight in front of my face. I'm covering most of it. My hair is not really showing. It's a little bit more like full body, a little more top of my ceiling, and that's it, okay? Just pull it back a little bit. Look at how I just adjusted my jaw. I threw my hair to the side, and I pulled the book down and showed my face. People want to see your face. Don't completely cover yourself up all the time. I know it's cute every once in a while to do the half face thing, but people want to see you. That's why they're coming to your feed. So show them your face. And just these small adjustments are going to make it look just a tiny bit more polished. And like I said before. And then in the ones below here, I did something similar. I just pulled the photo back a little bit more, showed my legs, just made it a little bit more of my body. So it's not so up close, and a little bit more of my house. I want it to be more about me. So just those little positioning differences in how you pull back and push forward your tripod is what I call mine, but it's really not a tripod. You guys saw how it is. Super uncomplicated, just trial and error. Just keep trying. Just at least get 3 photos to choose from. These were like, I think I took like 3 or 4 like this, and I chose these 2 to show you guys. So just take at least 3, and if you don't like those, delete them and go again. It's not a big deal. Pictures don't have to be the like scariest thing in the world, you guys. Just give yourself some love, give yourself some grace, and learn. If you guys want to dig in a rabbit hole, find my feed from like a couple years ago. It's real fun. Just to like see my progression of like photography and my editing and finding my groove and my style. And we're going to talk about that next. But mainly as far as posing goes, just the little adjustments matter. Making sure that your legs aren't just like totally crunched up next to your body. Make sure that your shirts aren't totally crumpled up or totally wrinkly. Just look presentable, and make sure that you're feeling yourself that day. If you're not feeling good, you don't have to post a picture. You don't have to do it. That's another reason I like to double up on my content, because if I'm not feeling myself that day, but I want to speak a message, I can post a picture from another day. So I don't feel like I have to post or take a photo every single day. So if anybody has any questions about posing before I get into some editing stuff, we can also do that now, because I'm just going to dabble into a couple editing things at the very end, so it won't take very long. I'll just give everybody a couple seconds.
If you guys have any questions, you can put them in the chat, or you can unmute yourself.
Yep, either one.
But yeah, drop them in the questions, and then I can come back to them.
Perfect. I'm just going to move on to this. Okay, so as far as my editing goes, I'm just going to jump into a tiny bit of something. Use the same filters on every photo if you can. It just makes a uniformity type. It makes your photos just look all the same. It just looks more polished. It looks more professional. People are going to catch their eye a little bit more on your feed when they go visit your profile, and they're going to think, oh, okay, yeah, I like this person's look. I'm going to follow them. It's just going to give you a little bit more of a look that people are going to be attracted to. And learn your editing apps. I personally use Lightroom because that's just what I use professionally. And then they have an amazing free app that you can use on your photos on your phone. You can go in there, just mess with it. They have their own preset stuff in there. Try to avoid the Instagram filters if you can, just because they're not the best quality. They'll kind of like mess with your photos. So I would go over to something like Visco or Lightroom and just play with their apps. Play with those apps and adjust the lighting, adjust the tones, kind of just find your feel and see what your vibe is that you like. Go find someone else on Instagram and say, oh, I like their feel. I like how they're a little brighter. I like how they're really warm. I like how they have a little bright colors. And find what you like and take notes. Don't compare yourself, but finding things that you like are going to help you find something that you're going to stick to, and that's something that's going to catch your eye, and your people are going to find you because they like what they see. And also finding color themes helps too. So like if you go to my personal Instagram, you'll see my highlights are all solid colors, and that's colors you'll see a theme throughout my feed. because those are like some of my favorite colors, and they also just, I naturally pick up on them because they're my favorite. So like the darker greens, because we're outside a lot, and then like the darker oranges and some salmons and stuff. I just throw quotes in there with those colors every once in a while, and it just makes it look a little bit more polished. I like that word a lot today. Okay, and I'm going to jump into the feed vibes here. I just gave you a little example here. Like I said, go to other feeds, see what you like, don't compare. Just take notes, see what you don't like too. If you see somebody and you're like, oh, I don't like how they're a little more dark, I want to go a little brighter. Great, so take notes, don't do darker. Go away from the darker, like the little, in your app in here, they're going to show different type of filters. Stay away from the darker, go towards the brighter. Adjust the lighting. Don't think you have to stick with just what they have. Make it your own. And you can even save your own preset. And they have user presets, and you can just click your own preset every single time. So that's what I personally do. I've created my own, and I just slap it on there every time. And then I also find inspiration for my feed ideas, like posing, even captions sometimes. If I'm like stuck on a day, I'm like, okay, I just really need to figure out what my feed needs. I'll go through what I have on my feed already. I'll go to Pinterest. I'll go to Instagram feeds, like I said before, of other coaches or people that inspire me. But mainly on Pinterest, what I'll type in is like Instagram feeds, inspiration. And then I'll find what I like, and I'll just dive into that rabbit hole, and I'll just get inspiration and get ideas. But then again, I don't compare myself. I just realize that I'm a totally different person, and I'm going to find my things that I vibe with, and those people that like me are going to find it and vibe with me, and we're just going to make this awesome thing together. And it's all going to start with what you post. So taking these little things that we're talking about tonight, the little posing details, the hair, the small stuff you think doesn't really seem that big, it does matter, because people are going to see you through those, and that's how they're going to find you. So that is my final slide on here. So I will let Ray.
That was so good. Okay. So again, if you guys have any questions, feel free to put them in the chat. Now's your time. If you have any questions about editing photos, Taylor, I know that you're a photographer as well. So if you have any pointers, feel free to add some in there as well. I definitely took a couple of notes, and I want to highlight a couple of things. Mm-hmm. So when she talked about having 2 to 3 options for your photos way back at the beginning, I honestly, I can't stress this enough. Like, this was huge for me when we were going over the slides. I was like, oh my goodness, yes. And the reason being, there is nothing that feels worse than you have one photo and you don't like it. Mm-hmm. And then you feel this pressure. I have to make a post on social media, and you have to post this picture, and you're not confident about it.
Right.
I personally firmly believe that taking photos, this part of our job, and I say job because it's such a lifestyle, but our job is to take photos and to share about what our journey is, what's working for us, what's going through our heads, what we're feeling, what we're learning, all of that. As part of our job, we have to do that via social media and images. To put yourself in front of a camera, especially if you are not a photo person, you are going to put yourself in a position of growing, of so much growth and confidence, to be able to look at yourself and say, damn, I like that picture of myself. It's huge, and it's huge for your confidence. So I don't want you to just have one picture. Like, you take one picture and you're like, oh, I just don't like it. If you find a picture, for example, I got Kyle to take a picture of me this morning, and I just didn't love it. It wasn't like this great picture. Like, I didn't feel great about it. I don't need to post it. Okay, so that's the reason why I would say I want to emphasize this point of get 2 to 3 photos when you are taking photos that you like. These 2 to 3 options that you can literally send to me or a friend and say, which one do you like the best? If you have those photos, you will feel so much better about putting this on social media, and that confidence will shine through and radiate in the content that you're putting out, in the written content, in your message, in your voice, in your invites, and all of that. Okay. So I just really wanted to hit on, make sure every time that you are going through pictures, you have 2 to 3 options that you can choose from. You will feel 1,000 times better than if you just have one and you're only forcing, you have to force yourself to put that picture up. Another one, I wanted to ask, how far away would you recommend the phone or the tripod or whatever they're setting up? How far away should that be from themselves? This is assuming they are taking the picture themselves, not having somebody else take it.
Okay, so if I have my little tripod thing, I'm not great at like feet. My husband would kill me. He's like builds houses. He's like, seriously, woman. Okay, I would say at least give yourself at least like 5 to 10 feet, guys. Just give yourself some room. You can always cut it down. There's nothing wrong, that little box. If you want it to fit perfectly in that box, give yourself some space and then let yourself zoom. Like I said, not during, after you take your photo, zoom in after.
Profit.
Just give yourself some room.
Yeah. Taylor, do you have any pointers on that? Any other tidbits to add to that?
Pull it in. There's no rules. That's it.
Yeah, the biggest thing I would say is just take as many as possible. Don't be like, I'm going to take 3 and they're going to be
yes.
perfect.
Right.
I am a sports photographer, not a pose photographer. So even pictures like this are hard for me to do. But when I do, like if I go shoot a football game, I will walk away with 7,000 pictures.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And then crop it down, and then I will have 200 pictures. And then I'll go through it again, and I will come out with like 100, 150 out of those 7,000 that I took that I love.
Yeah.
And something I had to get very, very comfortable with was, this is a good photo, but if I could just change this one thing, that means you got to delete it. Just start over. Because as soon as you find that one thing you want to pick apart, it's going to be over for that picture. You got to throw it away.
Yeah.
And you can always take more.
Yeah. Agreed. Agreed. And one, like, you guys, and it's so funny because it seems so silly. Like sometimes I even get so in my head about it. I'm like, this seems so silly that I'm literally talking about taking a photo. But again, this is your business. This is what you have to do. This is exactly what KAYLYN said. The only way people are going to find you and stay with you and hear you is through your posts. So you have to produce content, which is photos. That's what's stopping them. That's that first impression. And you have to create those photos that are stop worthy so that people either follow you or they go and watch you or they go and read about you. And that's how you're going to make that connection. And so when it comes to taking these photos, don't be afraid to, one thing that I personally will do is I take, like she was saying, I do a lot of mirror photos. That's a lot of photos that I like keep consistent with, and that's how I do my workout photos. I don't usually take pictures of myself like back. I used to, but in my my apartment now, it's just not the right setup. I have too much crap in the background. It's not a nice backdrop. It's not nice lighting. It's not a good level. It's just not good. And so for me, what works best is taking that mirror photo. But one thing that I will do is I'll take a few, I'll scroll through them and be like, oh, do I like any? And then I favorite them. I have an iPhone, so I can do the favorite. If I don't like any of them, I don't force myself to use them. Either I will go take more, or I just say forget it, and I'll take another picture doing something else that day. So don't be afraid to actually analyze your photos and say, oh, I like this. You need to feel comfortable with looking at yourself in a picture in order for the confidence to come through in that message. If you don't like the photo, you are not going to have that confidence, and people are not going to stop, okay? Yeah, if you guys have anything else to say on that, by all means. But another one that I wanted to say, when it comes to, this is a very controversial topic in my opinion, the whole show up real versus show up kind of real, that kind of idea. I think the best way to explain it is you have to remember, especially your newsfeed. Your feed is your storefront. So if you had a physical store Would you keep all of the papers scattered around? Would your counter, the checkout counter, would that look scattered like you do your work there? Would you have garbage laying around on the ground? Would you have all of the, let's say you had a supplement store. I don't know why this is what I think about, but this is what I think about. Let's say you had a supplement store. Would all of the supplements be like mislined, or would you have them all pushed up to the front so it looks all sharp and organized? It's not perfect. Maybe you've got one tub out of place, or maybe you have, like some garbage or something by accident on the floor. It's not perfect, but you tidied up for your people to come into. You also get to show the imperfect parts of you through the customer service. Like, oh yeah, like I just had such a bad day today. Like, you can talk to your people. I need you to remember and think about your feed, including your stories, as your marketing storefront. Like, this is what is bringing people in. This is what is getting people to connect with you. If you look like poop, people are going to think about you like that. And you can be raw and real. Like, to give you a great example, one of the things that I do that is more like real would be my morning stories. Every morning, I wake up and it's like 5:30 in the morning, and I'm taking a video of myself as I turn my kitchen light on, and I'm talking to my story saying, like, I did not want to get up this morning. Trust me, I'd rather be in bed right now, but I'm going to drink my Energize. I'm going to get my morning routine done. And I'm being raw. I'm truly showing, like, I'm tired AF. I don't want to be awake right now. But I had already brushed my teeth, and I was already in the washroom with lights on. So I am like raw and real, but I'm also functioning. I didn't roll out of bed, and I'm not like literally just opening my eyes. That's it. That's pretty much what I mean when it comes to be raw, but be presentable. Okay. So know that fine line. Another thing is pay attention to the crap that's in the background. Like, to give you an example, I would never take a picture where I am just because my background is just too busy. It's too busy. I would not take a story right here because the lights are above my head. I always do my talking stories in the daytime. You will very rarely see me doing it in the nighttime, but I always use a flash. My backdrop is like, just pay attention. At the end of the day, all I want to get across is your posts, your stories, your pictures, they are your marketing. They are your storefront. You have to pay attention. If you are somebody who follows somebody else that is very, like, does not care, then okay, that's your vibe. I'm not saying that this is wrong. Then go with that. But for the most of us, we are attracted to other people that look kind of clean, that look like they somewhat have their stuff together, or they have their stuff is a mess, but they also look put together. Do you know what I mean? So just pay attention to that. And then, yeah, I mean, that was awesome. If you guys have any questions, again, feel free to unmute yourself or put them in the chat. But any last feedbacks? Any last feedback or tips? Oh, I think I skipped out there. Sorry. But yeah, KAYLYN, if you want to finish if you have anything left to say.
I think that's all. That was pretty much it. Yeah.
Yeah. Photos matter, you guys. Photos matter, and they are not, like, remember, you do not need to be a photographer at the beginning, okay? Just to give you an example of, like, how your confidence will progress. Even last year for our wedding, I was so uncomfortable. I don't like being in front of the camera. I don't like my pictures taken. That was uncomfortable. And then I did my first, like, I got photos done, same photographer, but I got my photos done earlier this year, and that was uncomfortable. But slowly but surely, I've started to, like, learn what I like and what I can do taking photos, and I just requested photos done. Same girl, but I just requested photos and was, like, ready to be in front of the camera. So it really does progress. You will get more confident. So trust yourself in that. But yeah, other than that, amazing. Great job, KAYLYN. I'm so proud of you. And you guys have the most amazing, amazing Christmas. I'm wishing you guys all of the best. I'm working tomorrow for a couple of hours in the morning. So if you need anything, you have any questions, you want any help with planning, then send me a message. Next Monday, we are not going to do a call. There will be no call next Monday. So the following week will be the first call. It'll be a kickoff call for 2020. And we are also going to move calls to Tuesdays at 8 p.m. because I feel like that is a much better time for more people. So that is that. And yeah, enjoy the rest of your last little bit of 2019 and enjoy the new year. I love you guys. Bye.
Noodles.